Hello, King's Church. Kristen here. Just quickly announcing that we've been rather tardy and not very good at communicating that we are actually starting Sunday evening worship sessions again. I say again, haven't happened for the last couple of years since lockdowns and COVIDs and so on. But we are putting them back in place. I mean, obviously we worship on Sunday mornings, just like we teach on Sunday mornings, and we do a bit of children's work and we do a bit of youth work and all of those sorts of things. But the Sunday morning, it by its very nature is more like a shop window. It's got a bit of everything you do, but it's not actually got the depth and it's not got the full range. And so we're reintroducing Sunday night worship times, which are a much more open format. We will push a bigger space in the middle of the floor so we can be more actively both stand or though sit if we need to, but you can lie down, kneel down, whatever you want to do in worship. But worship is one of those physical disciplines that leads us into the spiritual. There's a kind of a two-way process. There's certain gifts that are clearly initiated by heaven and which we participate in, and then there are kind of disciplines that we have in place that actually take us through the layers of the flesh and into the spirit, and worship is one of those. You know, we start with thanksgiving. We enter his courts with thanksgiving in our hearts. So we have to be deliberate. We choose to take an attitude of gratitude. We choose to focus on the things that are good news, and we thank the Lord for those. And as we come in, we start to find our praises are starting to get released. And it's through that process that we come into those places of real intimacy with the Spirit. And where the Lord is able to speak kind of almost invisible, or not invisible, inaudible words into the heart that transform and change us. So we've responded in the only way we can, in our fleshliness, but he takes that offering, he lifts it up, turns it into something better. So I want to encourage you, if you can, to join us. These are small steps. They're not the end of the journey. We're going to take a slightly more open time. Peter has briefed various members of the church who help lead in worship to bring various elements. And we'll spend it from 7 o'clock on Sunday evening. We're gathering. We'll get worshipping probably 10 minutes or so after that for a couple of hours on a Sunday night, giving space for the Lord. On a quick personal layer of testimony, I've seen some quite remarkable things that God has done in the context of worship. They're not things that you set out looking for a miracle, but in that context where hearts are so open to the Lord and he's able to speak back to us. And so faith comes by hearing, see, and so as we're open to hearing, we hear and then we respond, faith comes. And then faith is completed in action, and then people sometimes make their choices to lay hands on each other, pray for each other. And I've seen some quite remarkable things happen in those contexts. So it's not something we can manipulate because we're not into magic, we're into relationship. But to create those spaces is an important part of our church life. And so I just want to make it clear that we've got the space. We don't know where it will go. But we want to give the Lord the space to do what he wants to do with us. So hopefully see you this Sunday. That's March the 10th, 2024, just in case you come across this in 3 years' time, at King's Place from 7 o'clock onwards. It'd be fantastic to join in with you. See you then.